Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 5th verse of the 7th chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paropi manute anartham tatkritam chabhipadyate. The meaning of this verse is, due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks of himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. This is the explanation of what is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, that we are not this body but we are spirit soul. For the spirit soul, there is no death, there is no birth, there is no disease, there is no old age, there is no suffering, there are no miseries. But then why are we experiencing whatever we are going through? We go through suffering. That is due to the external energy, the inferior energy of the Lord, the material energy. So that material energy, although transcendental, the living entity is transcendental to the three modes of material nature, the influence of the external energy makes the living being think that he is a product of material nature, he is a material product. And in that way, he undergoes the reactions of material miseries. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has elaborately explained this point, because the central point for our understanding that we are not the body, we are spirit soul. This is very, very important to understand. And then there is also, as Prabhupada explains, the root cause of suffering by the materialistic living beings is pointed out. What is the root cause of suffering? This influence of the external energy, because of which I think I am a material product. And the remedial measures which are to be undertaken. What is the remedy for this? And also the ultimate perfection to be gained. All the three are mentioned in this particular verse. Let us see how these three things are actually mentioned in the verse and explained wonderfully by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. The living being by constitution is transcendental to material engagement. Engagement means we are trapped inside this body. We means each one of us, spirit soul. Spirit soul is trapped in this body. Body is like a cage. It's like a bird is locked up in a cage. Same way, we are locked up in this body. But he is now imprisoned by the external energy, and therefore he thinks himself one of the material products. Even though we are transcendental, we are beyond this material body, our existence is beyond this material body, still the imprisonment is by the influence of the external energy. And that influence makes us think that I am a material product. And due to this unholy contact, what is unholy contact? The contact of matter and spirit. The pure spiritual entity suffers material miseries under the modes of material nature. I am pure spirit. Each one of the living beings is pure spirit. But the contact with this external energy creates a situation where I think, due to the influence of the external energy, I think I am a product of matter. I am this body. And that is the cause for suffering material miseries. The living entity misunderstands himself to be a material product. It's a case of misunderstanding. It is totally a phenomenon because of misconception, misunderstanding, misidentification. These are the terms used everywhere in the scriptures. This means that the perverted way of thinking, feeling and willing under material conditions is not natural for him. We think materially, we feel only in terms of matter, thinking, feeling, willing, we act materially. All this is only simply under material conditions. It is the way we think, feel and will. And this is not natural. This is not our original situation. This is not our situation as spirit soul. But, Srila Prabhupada says, he has his normal way of thinking, feeling and willing. Present perverted way of thinking, feeling and willing is going on. But apart from this, there is a normal way of thinking, feeling and willing. And it is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that the actual knowledge of the conditioned soul is now covered by nescience. Nescience means ignorance. The original knowledge of the living being is covered by ignorance. That is due to the influence again of the external energy only. Avidya, karma. These are two influences of the external energy. Avidya is ignorance and karma is fruitive activity. Both of these are a result of the influence of the external energy or material energy. Thus, the theory that a living being is absolute impersonal Brahman is refuted herein. The Mayavadi philosophers, they theorize that all living beings are absolute impersonal Brahman. That is completely wrong, because the absolute truth is never under any influence of the energy, never. Whereas the living being, who is not the absolute truth, can come under the influence of the illusion. This cannot be, because the living entity has his own way of thinking in his original unconditional state also. The original state is an unconditional state. It is not a state in which there is an influence of the external energy. The present conditional state is due to the influence of the external energy, which means that the illusory energy takes the initiative while the Supreme Lord is aloof. Whose energy is it? This external energy or material energy? It is Supreme Lord's energy, Krishna's energy. And the Supreme Lord, even though he is a supreme controller, he is always aloof from the external energy. And as a tiny spirit soul, every living being in this material world is conditioned. Conditioned means influenced to act in a material way. That is a conditioning. The Lord does not desire that a living being be illusioned by external energy. It's not the Lord's desire that we should be illusioned. But the external energy, aware of this fact, still accepts a thankless task of keeping the forgetful soul under illusion by her bewildering influence. That is why should the external energy do this task of keeping the forgetful soul in illusion? That is explained. The Lord does not interfere with the task of the illusory energy because this influence of the illusory energy is necessary for reformation of the conditioned soul. What is the need for reformation? The conditioned soul desires independent enjoyment. Independent enjoyment. Independent enjoyment is not the position of the conditioned soul, of the living being. He is not meant for independent enjoyment. Always in cooperation with Krishna. In cooperation with Krishna. But once somebody desires that they want independent enjoyment, then they are placed under the influence of the illusory energy or the external energy. And then they may think they are independently enjoying, while the fact is they are completely under the control of the illusory energy. So, to reform the conditioned soul, this is necessary. Prabhupada gives an example. An affectionate father does not like his children to be chastised by another agent, but he puts his disobedient children under the custody of a severe man just to bring them to order. So similarly, the all affectionate Almighty Father, Krishna, he desires relief for the conditioned soul. And what kind of relief? Relief from the clutches of the illusory energy. The Supreme Lord, for this purpose, he descends from his kingdom upon the kingdom of the illusory energy and personally gives relief in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita for helping us to get relief from the influence of the illusory energy. So what does he say in the Bhagavad Gita? He suggests that although the ways of illusory energy are very stiff to overcome, mama maya duratyaya, very difficult to overcome, still one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord is set free by the order of the Supreme Lord. Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. We can get out of this illusion simply by surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna. That's all. This surrendering process is the remedial measure for getting relief from the bewildering ways of the illusory energy. So first thing is, why the suffering? Because under the influence of the illusory energy, we are thinking in terms of I am a material product, I identify with this body, and the body undergoes so many changes, and then I think I am suffering, while actually I am aloof from the body. Then what is the remedial measure for this? Surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. And then finally, the highest perfection to be achieved is not merely that I become free from the influence of the illusory energy. No, there is an original position in a loving, devotional relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Lord, in his personal abode, as his loving devotee. That is a perfection to be attained. So, it is not just relief, it is relief and reinstating in our original constitutional position. So, that is also explained here. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.